Hello?
Hey, you're not the teacher. I don't know his name. What's our
N-
teacher's name?
No, I'm not the teacher. I don't quite know his name yet, but I know he's late.
Yeah, this was supposed to start a few minutes ago. I mean, the rule is you can leave after 3 minutes, I believe. If the teacher's not here, you just leave, and
You leave after 3 minutes.
they can't they can't mark you truant if you leave after 3 minutes if the teacher's been gone for 3 minutes. That's the law,
In what book?
the law book, I believe.
Did you
Are you-
bring it?
Did I? No, I don't. I don't have a copy. I'm sure it's online. Nobody has books anymore. Um, so are you a teacher assistant? Are you one of the students? Who are you?
I'm a student. Yes, I'm Clara,
Hi,
and
Clara.
I'm very passionate about tea.
Really? I've never met
Yes,
anybody who's passionate about except the weird professor. I think he's more excited about tea than anything else in his life. But now for me, I gotta graduate. If I don't graduate, my probation officer, he's gonna be mad at me. I had a little bout of arson a few years ago. I'm trying to get out of that. And he said, "Hey, this tea class, it might teach you some methods to calm down." But I'm not that calm, especially when the teacher's wasting my time by not showing up.
I would recommend that you get yourself a glass of tea while we wait.
Yeah, I have a glass of tea. I got whatever tea they have at the bar here. I ordered a glass of tea and I'm ready to drink it. But he said you should probably wait for your professor because it's some kind of thing where he's going to have you smell it first and then learn about it. And I don't know. I'm getting kind of impatient though. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I suppose it is pretty frustrating that he's not here yet,
I
but
want to just set something on fire. I don't know. Do you feel that? Do you understand that?
Um, I do feel a little bit hot under my collar, but I'm not willing to light anything on fire about it. Do you mind if I ask what you set ablaze?
Well, nothing anymore. It's been a while. I'm trying to stop it. I've gone 17 days without starting a fire, and this would be 18, but I'm feeling a pretty strong urge right now. I got this. This helps me because I can look at the fire, I can smell the fire, but I don't have to touch anything with the fire.
If you could light anything on fire outside of this class, what would it be?
Oh, anything I see, anyone. It's
So
it's a good feeling. You got to try it, Clara. I don't know if I wouldn't do it and tell anybody about it. But if you're ever outside and it's dark and nobody can see you, I mean the problem is dark's the best time to do it, but it makes light, and when it makes light, people see you, and then you're not sure what to do, and then sometimes you get caught, which is what happened to me. So I'm trying to solve that one. I'm thinking about doing it in the day next time.
have you ever seen anyone get their fingers caught in a lit up firework?
Oh yeah, that was actually how it all started for me. That was the moment I fell in love, as it were.
Well, that was the moment I fell in fear and decided that I would just live most happily on my own little private island covered by tea leaves.
You live on your own private island, but you're taking this class. You don't need this class.
Metaphorically, yes.
Oh,
I'm just
I don't. Yeah, I don't like metaphors as much as I like fire. It's always been kind of a problem for me. They say if you like metaphors just a little bit more and you like fire just a little bit less, you probably would be able to get a job.
so maybe you can find a bridge in between those two
Set
with
that bridge
tea.
right on fire.
Oh,
Bridge is on fire. Things are on fire. They're falling off the bridge because the bridge is collapsing. Then when the bridge collapses, it makes more fire. Oh, it's a good vision. It's a good vision.
how old are you?
Um, I'm not supposed to talk about that with people on the internet. My probation officer says, you got to stop that because first it starts with how old are you, then it's let's meet up, then it's let's set some, you know, some was on fire. I'm not supposed to talk about that either. I signed a thing.
Okay, hear me out. Let me know how old you are. We're classmates now.
I've never seen you
Maybe
before. I don't know if you're trying to trick me or not.
outside we could metaphorically set this class on fire.
Now you're talking my language.
So 40s, 50s.
Look, I'm just trying to get a college degree like anybody else. I'm college aged.
Okay. Um,
How about you? How old are you?
yes, me too. Let's Yes, where I'm from, I am wiser beyond my years,
Where
but
you from?
not quite old enough to be respected.
Yeah, I get that too. I don't get any of the respect that I think I deserve. I think I'm a pretty respectable person. I don't see a whole lot of respect. You know what people do respect though? The flame.
Hmm.
So how old are you? How old are you though? Where are you from? What's your name? Your name's Clara.
Yes, undisclosed. I lived in Norway for about 76 hours of my life, and then moved to the middle of nowhere in Canada. So,
Not a lot
um,
of fires in Canada, are there? Or wildfires, forest fires.
I don't prefer to talk your language like that. I think that maybe you and I should get more excited about the coursework we're about to digest,
Oh,
maybe.
there wasn't homework, was there? Oh man, this class. I was told it's just like a you show up, you get some meditation, you get calm, you drink some tea. Did I have
Oh,
to do like did I have to read a chapter or something for today?
well, we actually had that entire little handbook to go through before we showed up to
All
class.
right.
It's okay. I
Yeah,
can send
give me the
you
rundown. No, just tell me about it. What do I need to know? Give me a little cram session.
so, along with the little handbook, you were supposed to go outside in your immediate surroundings and try and forage for anything that looked like a comparable
Yeah,
leaf that could be used for tea. Did you
I
do that?
did do that, and then I did set it on fire 17 days ago. And then I did put that in a little pile of leaves, and it did create a little bit of a problem for me. So I was going to actually ask the professor if I can get an extension, but he might not let me. He might not show up at all. I don't know. What? Just give me a rundown. What's the basics about tea? What's the quiz going to be?
So basically, you need to know how many different types of tea leaves there are.
Oh,
Um,
three. Looks like three:
no, that's not correct.
green, red, and yellow.
You're missing a few colors. The other portion that I believe we'll be going over is the preparation methods for it, and
Oh,
you need
I got it. You put it in hot water.
no, you have to make the water hot, first of all.
I'm good at that. I am good at making things hot.
Um,
Don't need a college degree for that one. They've been
we're
figuring it out since caveman time.
also going to be discussing the history of tea, so it sounds like you have a little bit of a background understanding.
Um, in the sense that, yeah, I mean, you order it, they give it to you, and then you sip it. You know,
Um,
I'm feeling good about this quiz. I don't think I need a cram session at all. I think I got this figured out.
yes, and I think you'll be moderately fine as well.
Thing is, though, it's been like 6 minutes now, so I think really legally we should just get out of here because all we're doing is burning daylight, and I got other things I want to burn.
Oh, um, I think we should wait for another 20 minutes if we need
20. Oh
to.
my God, 20? What are we
Well,
going to do for 20 minutes, Clara?
we could cram on your homework. I'll send you the document.
I don't want to do homework, though. I'm supposed to
And
be doing a lecture right now.
hold on, let me send you this real quick. Okay. Can I ask you what your favorite tea is?
Uh, oh man, pop quiz. I didn't know. My favorite type of tea is uh, Earl May.
Oh,
Right? That's a type of tea.
um, yeah.
Darjeeling.
I think you'll be really you'll you'll find yourself to be moderately successful in this course.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. So long as my probation officer just shuts up for once, I'll be happy. I'll tell you that much.
And how long have you been involved with your probation officer?
Been involved with. Well, look, I'm not supposed to be involved with her at all. So she said don't tell anybody that we're involved. How'd you know about that? How'd you figure that out?
Oh, just making small talk. Hey, wasn't there supposed to be 12 other kids in this course?
There's supposed to be like 40, right? Oh, the professor's here. Finally. Mr. Professor finally showed up.
Oh,
Mr. Professor can't make his computer. These old people shouldn't be teaching online.
Good evening. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
yes,
Testing,
sir.
testing.
Thanks for showing up,
1, 2,
Professor.
3. Testing, testing. 2 by 4. Okay, all right. Sounds good. Okay, yes, let's get started. Yes, thank you everyone for joining. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. I did have a academic emergency, as it were. Welcome to
pen
the.
ran out. What does that mean?
I'm sorry. Who is this?
This is your student, Chad Wickerbasket. Who are you?
Chad. Okay. Well, Chad, I'm the teacher of the class that we've been in for the past semester.
Yeah, class that we've been in for
Yes,
15 minutes.
Professor
You have
Fucault.
not been here. Yeah, Clara and I, we've been waiting here. It's like that show, The Last of
Okay,
Us. Only two people left in the world.
Yes. I'm sorry you had to experience, this horrible delay. I did say we're going to start at 1. It's only 1:03, so let's just hold our horses there for a moment. I appreciate you folks waiting. Who else do we have in the chat, just to see here?
Hi,
I see Clara.
hi.
Hello, Clara. Yes,
It's
you.
good to meet you.
Well, I mean, I thought I saw you in class before, but I could be wrong about that. Anyways, I'm glad both of you are here. We are going to get started, if that's okay with you. The other folks, we're just going to have to wait. The rest of the students here, I guess Chad and Clara are the star students for today. So I'll be calling on you. I hope you did the homework. So let's get started here. So welcome everyone to the, can we, James, can we get the music to play? Okay, sorry, have an associate there, James. He's doing a little bit of the soundboard stuff. So yeah, James, play the music. Thank you. Yes, okay. Welcome everyone to the Semolina University Library College's presentation of weekly lectures. This week, we'll be discussing a topic of great interest. It has roots in colonialism, nation building, international relations, globalism, trade, and basically the beginnings of present modernity. I think you'll find this afternoon's lecture to be as riveting and as impassioned as the speaker himself. So without further ado, I present myself, Associate Lead Professor of the Arts and Imbiberies, Roscoe Fucaultini. Applause is allowed. Feel free to, if you want to give me a little, this is the time to do it. So anyways, very warm welcome here. I just want to thank Director Gorka. He is in charge of the department here. So folks, we got to give it up for Director Gorka as well. Let's give him a little round of applause. I don't know if he's here. Hopefully he'll see this. I'll get that big fat bonus. Many people told me that this lecture would have very few interested parties. I teach a class of 35 of you, and it appears a great many of them are in attendance from what I can see on the computer here. I met Clara, presumably for the first time, and I see Chad's here, but I do appreciate your attention and interest in this most fascinating of topics. It is said, where there is tea, there is happiness. And I agree. And I would commend the beauty of this quote for its simple, charming nature. Indeed, tea is a sort of gluey paste that holds happiness and people together, if only for a brief, sticky moment. That was supposed to be a joke, I hope. Anyways, I'll get into the lecture now, as my words are nothing and the topic of tea, everything. So thank you for your attention, and please do hold your questions until after. There'll be plenty of time for questions. So tea, an academic lecture on the history and varietals. So let's go through the slide here. I bought a fancy new clicker here from Amazon, so I get to do the old click. You know, I know when we're normally presenting, we can sort of have more fun with it, but yes, it doesn't seem to be working. James, what's going on here? James, can you first the music and now this? Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, trusty compatriot here. So, tea's history. We have starting here, Lu Yu, the saint of tea in sort of Chinese history. He's one of the first guys to sort of make tea what it is today. You know, he sort of said, you know, tea is not just a brief additive you'll put in a soup. You know, for instance, they would often make soup in the early Song dynasty and just sort of throw some tea in there. And
he made that fire. Look at that! Look at that big fire that he's got that tea in.
Oh yeah, well, no, that's not Lu Yu, Chad. That's somebody else. We'll get to
that fire. How'd Shen Nung make that fire?
Well, you're getting ahead of us. You know, we're not even talking about Shen Yong yet. We're still finishing on Lu Yu. Okay,
faster than you.
We're still on the Lu Yu, Chad. We're still on Lu Yu. We have not shifted to Shen Nong yet. Okay.
All right.
Let's continue. Let's just wrap up Lu Yu here.
Well, I love Lu Yu, but I'd love to talk about Shen Nung and his fire at some point.
Yes, well, we're getting there, Chad. So again, you know, hold those horses. All right. So he's sort of the saint of Chinese tea. He's sort of, you know, they don't necessarily have saints in China. You know, they don't have necessarily people that they think are godlike. But this is one of the few people that they do think are, you know, sort of a beyond the pale. You know, can't insult this guy. And that actually does bring us up to Shen Nong. You know, so the origin of tea, according to legend, Chinese Emperor Shen Nong. You know, Chad has clearly done his homework.
I'm a big Nung fan.
I was watching. Yeah, no, well, not
Mr. Nung.
I guess you would say His Majesty Shen Nong.
Dr. Nung.
Could have called him a doctor, I suppose, in some sense. But he was basically sitting under a tree, boiling some water, you know, as you do, to make sure you can drink it. You know, here in America, I believe my county is under a boil water emergency at the moment, so we can all, you know, relate to this even into today. You know, they say the water is not safe to drink.
Making a big fire out in the woods. That's big
fire, boil a lot of water, and then you got plenty of water for later. So
how do you think he made that fire? A couple twigs, throwing some rocks at things, making a spark. What was the Nung method?
Chad, we're going to put a pin in that. I think I see a question here.
Nung protocol.
Mr. R, what kind of tree was Mr. Nung sitting under?
Dr. Nung.
Oh.
That's Emperor Nung. So Emperor Nung was actually sitting under a tea tree, and then as luck would have it, as Clara had kind of pointed out there, I can see somebody else did the homework here, and that makes me so happy, folks. You have no idea. This is very important. So sitting under a tea tree, a few tea leaves just sort of flittered and fluttered all the way down into the boiling pot of tea, and then that created the first pot of tea. So this is sort of this is how we get tea. You know, this is where it all comes from. This is the
he let branches fall into his drink.
Well, no, just the leaves. You know, there's not much nutrition from the branches.
This guy's drinking trash water. Trash is blowing into his food, and he just drinks it.
Well, not trash. It's organic material.
And he's letting trash fall in his water.
James, get to the next slide, please. Come on.
I want to talk about Dr. Nung more.
No, we'll come back to Emperor Nung in a little bit. I seem to be having trouble with my, you know, I spent $49 on Amazon for this thing, and it doesn't seem to be working at all. It's working perfectly earlier, and now it's
$3 in this little
click
guy
to the next
here.
slide. I don't see what that is, but okay.
So I make my fires in the woods. This is my Nung method right here.
Yes, if only Emperor Shen Nong had a big lighter, maybe the history of tea would be different. So
I'd be swatting the leaves out of my water. Is what I'd be doing.
Yes, like I did make a sort of a note to say perhaps we could, you know, keep the questions until after. So
that wasn't a question.
Gong Cha.
was a
Sorry,
comment.
we're moving into Gongcha, Chad. All right, we don't have time for this. We went from Luyu to Shenong to Gongcha, so let's just calm down here. Gongcha is a tribute tea. So after Shenong figured out you can drink this stuff, the Chinese sort of started picking it like crazy. You know, there's a lot of picking going on, starting to make the best of the best and the crappy stuff and the good stuff, and there's distinctions. And so Gongcha is the best stuff, and it was always reserved for the emperor. So sort of have to make sure, you know, the best stuff goes to the boss. You know, that's certainly true of cartel culture, as we've covered in the previous chapters. So that is true here as well in Chinese tea culture. So yes, we can. I already read the slide. Can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you, James. Come on. Yeah. Teacher's assistant. Assist. Okay. Yeah, so moving on. Brick tea. Yes. Brick tea, also known as pu'er or fermented tea. So this is sort of what Lu Yu would have drunk, what Shenong probably eventually drunk, and what
Just fall into his water too, and he just let it soak into whatever he wanted to drink.
you know, Chad, if we could, I'm trying to be patient here, Chad, but you know, we don't
You know,
we don't have time for this.
you know what he could have tried? Maybe don't.
What's that?
Maybe don't sit
What
under.
could he have tried?
Don't sit under a branch that's falling. How about that? You ever think about?
Don't sit under branches, Chad Wicker. Everybody,
if it's
all
falling,
the other.
Look, if a branch is going to fall on you, and you can see that in the wind, all the branches and the leaves are falling. Maybe don't put a big pot of water under it.
Maybe he was so concentrated within his own practice of tea, which I think is what the professor is trying to lead us to.
Exactly. Yes, Clara, you again right on the nose. James, if we could mute Chad, that'd be great. Can we mute? Okay, thank you. So yes, brick tea, known as pu'er or fermented tea, as Clara pointed out. You know, this is a form of tea from its sort of original phase. So the best way to preserve tea for a long time was to. I see Chad still trying to talk there. A mute button does wonders. So the brick tea is sort of compressed, you know. So you have a very old, aged, stored brick of tea that could last for anywhere from 50 years, you know. So it's sort of the packaging, the plastic wrapper that would go around this, so to speak, before they had any sort of preservatives. So this is, you know, very fascinating to learn about. You know, did anyone in particular get to try this over the past semester? I know I sent out some samples to everybody. I saw quite a few of those samples in the garbage can right outside the classroom. So, well, I would ask Chad, but Clara, did you get a chance to try?
Yes, and I was just wondering what the manufacturing process is for brick tea now in the modern century.
God, what a great question. You know, I'm assuming Chad tried this, but we'll just we'll come back to Chad. So basically, they used to press it with large stones, you know, sort of squish it into a giant solid material of brick. And over time, that became replaced by machinery. And so now we have iron pressed cakes, as they're known. That's basically just a hydraulic press that just crushes all this crud together and just makes a big solid brick out of it. And let me tell you, if you ever a home invader, you could swing one of these things around and knock them upside the head, and you might actually have a good chance of.
Where I
James?
grew up,
Okay.
this looks exactly like cow pies that we would find all over our front yard.
Well, you know, that's not necessarily wrong. You know, it's a fermented tea, so it tastes very earthy, almost sort of too earthy for my taste. James, what do you? No, go back. James, I don't. No, too far, James. My God, it's just okay. As this is going great, by the way. I'm so happy we're doing this. But yes, it does sort of look like a cow pie in the sense that it might be fermented, and so there's some similarities there. You know, cow
How
pies can be fermented to use as fuel in the winter, depending on where you live. So.
I feel the need to ask a question that maybe I'm not the only one in the room thinking it, but how flammable is this brick?
Yeah, so I see a lot of excitement over this question in the group here. Yeah, so it's not that flammable per se, but I suppose with the right temperature, anything could be flammable. Pretty, yeah, it could probably, it's not necessarily inherently flammable, but yeah, if you threw that on a fire, you could probably get a good burn going. I see we have is that a question? Oh, no, no question. All right, so moving on here, we can, yes, move, James. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so this is now moving from brick tea into what we now know as loose leaf tea. So if you go to any sort of upscale store to buy tea, you're going to see little bits and chunks just sort of there. And they're not necessarily squished together like they were with the other stuff. The gong cha, the tribute tea, the pu'er tea. These things are very flat and they're very heavy and they're very well, they're very solid. And so this is loose leaf. This is sort of, you take that and you deconstruct it. What if we didn't squish it together? What if we just kept all those leaves separate? So
I hate to interrupt, Professor, but
oh, no,
I
no, please go ahead, Clara. At least you're not Chad, sort of blithering and bluthering into the sorry, continue.
well, I just can't help but also wonder how flammable this form of leaves are. Oh,
Well, I mean, another flammable question. Yeah, the thing is, like anything, could be flammable in the right circumstances, but you normally don't want to roast the tea, uh, although sometimes you can, and we'll put a pin in that because that's fascinating. We'll come back to
Professor?
one and Dong Ding from Taiwan and other varietals that are. I see we're having some internet issues here. Anyone,
I got
anyone
back in.
experiencing that? Am
My
I?
mute turned in your glitch. My mute is off. Professor, I think you should treat me with respect.
Oh, I see we have Chad back. Okay, well, welcome back, Chad. I'm sorry we muted you for so long. I told James to unmute you a few moments ago, but teachers' assistants, where would we be without them? Isn't that right? Okay. Yeah, well, welcome back. We were just talking
Thanks.
about, you actually came at a good time here, Chad. Clara and I were talking about the flammability of tea, and we just sort of started going on a tangent about roasted tea.
Yeah.
But we'll put a pin in that. We'll talk about Zhu Yangzhang right now. He's a great guy, so we moved from Lu Yu to Shennong to Gongding, and now we move to Zhu Yuzhang, the emperor who created loose leaf. He was basically like, I don't really like the tea cakes. They're all squished together. Not crazy about that. Can we go back, James? What the heck, James? Okay, there. Yeah, just stay on
James
that
is
one.
keeping me awake personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, James might not be with us for too much longer.
He's dying.
Knock on wood. Well, no, he's not dying. Well,
It's nice of you to have a terminally ill teacher's assistant.
Not unless he's spontaneously combustible and sort of catches on fire himself.
Oh, it happens.
Does that answer your question, Clara?
Yeah.
I see you have your hand raised. Did that was your
well,
question, is James flammable?
No, I actually was wondering the evolution of tea cakes when it went from packed leaves to baked goods.
Yes, I see what you did there. That's very funny. Yes, not necessarily like a bakery. It's not necessarily wedding cakes to cupcakes sort of shift, like perhaps a millennial bakery. This is sort of something that's happened over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And so, there was a shift where they went from tea cakes to little tea twos, which are sort of like, they're mushroom shaped. So one could argue that those are a sort of form of tea cupcake, if you will. But Yeah, that's not a bad thought. One could probably make the case and perhaps even write a thesis about something like this. This is it's a good point.
What'd you do your thesis on, Professor?
Back, you know, we did say hold the questions till the end, Chad. I know we've had a few interruptions here, but yes, my thesis was on. Well, let's put a pin in that, and then we'll talk about it at
Oh
the
my
end.
God,
That's
we
a
got
good
so many
question.
pins, Professor. How long does this thing go?
Well,
I thought
you got
are
a
we
lot of
done? When's it end?
it's like that fairy tale from the Netherlands, from the Dutch land, where the dike is breaking and you gotta plug the dike with all your fingers.
Hikes.
You got a lot of fingers in the holes in the dike, and so you're trying to just keep the deluge from washing all over you. So we got a lot of pins and things, a lot of fingers and things. We'll come back to all these things, I
In the
promise.
dikes. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's the Dutch fairy tale. So yes, anyways, as we were saying, Zhu Yuansheng, he was the one who drew a line under the
Clara had
culture
a
of tea
question.
cakes.
Clara had a hand.
Sorry. Go ahead, Clara. Yeah,
So,
please go ahead.
Well, Professor, you inspired me to wonder what your favorite part of your education was when we were talking about what your dissertation was about. So, would you like
Well,
another
that's
pin?
I see what you did there. Yes, yes, there's a lot of pins and things, but we actually, sure, yeah, we'll talk about it right now. My thesis was actually on Taiwanese tea and how its specific type of tea sort of essentially it's sort of the love child of China and Japan's tea cultures, so to speak. And so my thesis was on Taiwanese tea farmers. And so I spent about 10 years over in Taiwan learning the language. I learned Mandarin. I learned Cantonese. I learned all the Chinese languages. And let me tell you, they're not super easy. A lot of tonal, lots of tones, lots of tonalness. So that took a lot of getting used to, and the culture shock itself. They eat a lot of interesting things over there. So I was
the
very
Chinese
fascinated by this. And
Kung Pao chicken.
well, actually, Kung Pao chicken is American, and so they eat sort of.
Oh, it's at Chinese restaurants. You ever go to American restaurant, ask for Kung Pao chicken? They say no, we have burgers.
Yeah, that's Chinese restaurants in America sometimes even have pizza. I've wondered to myself why on God's earth is there
Pizza's
pizza here at the
American.
Chinese buffet? But
Pizza and burgers are
I've
American.
eaten it, and like the old saying says, any kind of pizza is better than no pizza, right?
That's
Professor, is it true that the Taiwanese tea really is sort of the best of both worlds of both Japanese and Chinese teas?
Yeah, so again, excellent question. Yeah, it is the best of both worlds, best of many worlds, the best of those two specific worlds. You have Japan on one side of Taiwan and China on the other side of Taiwan. And so, sort of geographically, they're kind of meeting in the middle. And then, you have Taiwan sort of in the middle. And then, as Taiwan sort of absorbing those two influences from both sides, it's sort of getting all the goodness and it's sort of becoming the thing in the middle, sort of a Taiwan sandwich, so to
did,
speak. How an
General
ice cream
So.
sandwich has the.
What about General So? Did he make
Um,
any teas? Mister Doctor So?
Chad, I can't tell you how frustrating it is to try and get through a lecture and have constant interruptions for questions. The thing is, Chad, I said let's please just wait until after, and so I just don't understand how here we are.
Wuku Gai
I'm
Pan. Is that a tea?
um, Yes, a question from Clara. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
was
Clara.
wondering
Chad,
if
just put a pin in it, okay?
Another pin.
maybe we could get on with the lecture. I've got another paper for a different class that I need to finish after this, and
Me
I would
too.
really love
Lots of
to hear.
papers.
I'm really sad to hear that. I know there's other topics in the world. I know there's other things going on besides just tea, but the thing is, this is a very important lecture. This is about 87% of your grade, roughly speaking. The final and the midterm were only about 6% each, roughly. And so this is very important. So let's just sort of get through this, and then we can talk about everything else. You guys can work on your paper for sociology or
You know, I like to do with
phrenology or
papers.
cosmetology or,
Got some papers need a little flames in them tonight.
Professor, I just want to say that I am currently drinking the brick of tea mixed with a couple other store-bought teas, and it is changing my life.
I'm like,
great. I'm so happy to hear that.
Professor,
sorry, what, Chad? What was that? James,
I'm kind of like
mute
this doctor, whatever his name was, in that I like to sit under trees with fire, but I don't put a pot of boiling water. So you take that step just like that doctor.
Yes, exactly like Dr. Shenong, the emperor.
Right.
So,
Dr. Nong.
yeah, let's. Yes. Well, no,
I'm
do
going
not.
to tell people to call me that now. Dr. Nong might be my new nickname. I'm going to change
Dr.
my
Nong is a great name. It's a good
TikTok
influence,
handle.
but let's just, can we, I know we have pins in many different things. And, also sort of interestingly, there's a pin in a grenade, and sort of when you take that pin out, the grenade goes off. And so we have a lot of
big
pins in things
explosion.
right now. And if we start pulling pins out of things, everything's going to start to sort of blow up around us. So let's
blow it up.
No, we don't want it. We don't want it to blow up. We want to make it calm. Yeah. So let's just wrap up here, folks. I know you have other things to do. I know you're studying for your cat psychology class, or your goldfish dissection later, or whatever. Well, those are all important subjects, but let's just finish here. This is food for thought. So these are types of tribute tea. Getting back into it here. So does anyone want to take a crack at the first type of tea? Anyone want to try and pronounce that? That's the Dragonwell tea, as it's noted in English. Clara, yes, go ahead. Take a crack at it.
Green.
Oh no, that's a good try. Close. But it's the wrong column. It's we don't want to necessarily read the type. We want to read well, preferably the pinyin, sort of the anglicized version of Chinese, the pronunciation there. So where it says, name, and it has all the Chinese characters, and it says pronunciation. Can you just read under that first one there, if you care to take a stab at it?
Kai Hui Long Jun.
Beautiful. So since it's a tonal language, you want to say Chui Hu Long Jiao. So you want to sort of keep the way you speak it, like oh, ho, ho, sort of a lot. It's a very, like I said, Chinese, very tonal. So you want to, maybe Chad, you want to try and say this?
No.
James, we can unmute Chad. No. Okay. James, we can mute Chad again. That's fine. Yeah, so anyways, as you can see, not the easiest pronunciation. So this is why I learned Mandarin, I learned Cantonese, I learned all the different Chineses. I immersed myself in their world. And so this is why during my thesis, I just had, just a tsunami of Chinese just going whoosh over my head and just sort of enveloping me and just tossing me around as though I was in a clothes washer, or an industrial clothes dryer, just being looped around and just tossed and beat up and bruised. And this is the Chinese language. It just does that to you. And so this is again, it's a beautiful language. It's very tonal. So I'm going to take a stab at a few of these for you. As you guys can see, there's green snail spring in English, and we call that Dongting Bi Du Zhan. So the next one, Iron Goddess. This is actually named after the Chinese goddess Guan Yin. She's the goddess of mercy, and so we would say Anji Ti Guan Yin. So again, Guan Yin, Ti Guan Yin. It's a type of tea after her. So Ti Guan Yin. Anyways, there's a few other types of tribute tea here. We don't need to go over it a lot. As you can see, the types: green, oolong, black, yellow. Very interesting. We'll put a pin in yellow tea, and we'll come back to that later. Yellow River tea is probably one of the best. So James, we can move on to the next slide here, please. Thank you. So yes, this is touching off onto my thesis. Taiwanese tea. It's great stuff. It's probably some of the best. It's a hybrid child of both worlds, as we said, and in some senses, probably the best version of teas. So we have a few different counties here. We have Taipei County, we have Nantou County, we have Yunlin County, and all their sort of types of tea that they're known for, sort of famous for, you will see represented near the county. So, for example, you'll see Longcheng tea from Taoyuan County up there at the top in the upper left. And as you sort of make your way down, you have, Taipei County. They have Ximeng tea, which is, it's fantastic. And Taipei City, they have Muzha Ti Guanyin, which, as we talked before, Guanyin, the goddess of tea. I think, it's we've talked so much now that I'm starting to wonder, am I losing it here? We're doing good on time here, folks. Let's just plow ahead. James, next slide, please. Let's get this going here. You can unmute Chad as well, so we want to talk about this. We're going to open up for discussion. All right, sorry about that, folks.
If
So,
me talking makes this last longer, please keep me muted.
I don't know what to say to that.
You could say good night, maybe.
Well, the thing is, you just continue to keep talking, so I get the sense, Chad, that you secretly really love this, perhaps even more than Clara. So let's just wrap it up here.
Oh, thank God.
We have another 17 slides. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, you prepared this, so. Okay, so I guess we have another 17 slides. That's okay. 18, 17, not including this. So 18 slides.
My internet's frozen. Maybe my internet.
The audio is coming in perfect. I don't know, Clara. Can you hear Chad? That sounds fine. Fine on my end.
I can hear Chad perfectly. He's really good at pretending his internet's out. Good job, Chad.
Yeah, that's such a funny gag. I'm sure during COVID everybody loved that. So drinking tea, arguably the best part. James,
I'm just joking. I'm fine. I'm here.
Chad's pretending to be. Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Your internet came back in. Woohoo! Yay! Yeah. Awesome. All right. Let's continue here.
Mm-hmm.
So the best ways to drink tea, and I don't know if you guys were both in class. Clara, you said nice to meet you. I thought I saw you before. I guess not. Chad, if you were in class as well, I don't remember you either. I would have definitely taken note of all these interruptions. I don't know if either of you guys were in class for the day.
Is this part of
I'm getting there, Chad. I'm getting, just have some patience,
I've had so much goddamn patience.
Hold those horses back because they're chomping at the bit, buddy. Take it easy. All right. Let's just not champ here. Nobody's a champ. Okay. Let's finish the slide and then we'll talk about who's a champ and who's not a champ.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Let's finish the slide. How about
James? It was just a minor outburst. It's okay. Okay, so drinking tea, arguably the best part. So the best ways to drink tea, as we did that one day in class, we prepared it Gong Fu style, grandpa style, cold brew style, Mandarin style, etc. Do either of you remember what your favorite style was to drink, or sort of how you prefer? Chad, you seem sort of like you'd be partial to the grandpa style. Based on the amount of interruptions that I've had. Clara, you seem perhaps you'd like the cold brew style, a very soft extraction of the tea through very subtle means. This is what was your favorite style, guys? Help me out here. Cut me a little slack.
I like cold brew mostly because I feel like I should be drinking the tea hot. And so when I take the extracts and make it into cold brew, it makes me feel like I'm defying all of my own odds.
That's poetic. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe cold brew, honestly. You just sort of defying the odds. You know, it's sort of saying tea was created as a hot beverage. Well, I'd like to do it cold, please. You know, it's a
No fire is
it's
what that says.
unconventional.
Says I.
Yeah, no little to no fire, yes. But that grandpa style, that's a hot style to drink it, Chad. So
How hot
you're
is
saying
the?
that
No, my favorite's probably the gong fu style.
it's well yeah, it's actually pronounced kung fu, sort of like
Kung
kung
fu.
fu, you know. Well, yeah, essentially the same word, gong fu and kung fu. It's just it's another spelling, but you know, you could say gong fu, but you know,
That's what I did say.
we wouldn't.
I
I
stand by.
mean, yes, but I mean, it's not technically correct, and it sort of sounds like you're saying fu, and I like
It says
you know,
fu
it's
on the
not really.
slide. I'm just reading your slide.
No, I know it says fu on the slide. The thing is, it's not pronounced fu; it's pronounced fu. And so you don't want to say fu, you know, it's sort
All
of
right,
it comes
fu,
across, you know, this is
fu,
87% of
professor.
your grade, you know, so let's just we'll just figure out, you know, how to
Yeah.
get there from
Let
here.
me
But
make this really clear. Fu.
fu, yeah, there you go. Yeah, perfect. I knew you had it in you, Chad. I knew it. I knew it. So yeah, so what do you like about Kung Fu style, Chad? What's your favorite
Saying it.
yeah, that's probably my favorite part too. It's it's fun to say, isn't it? Let's all say it together at the same time. Kung Fu.
Foo.
Fu.
Perfect. Great. No, James, you don't need to say it too. It's you're in the room with. Never mind. Okay, next slide. What do you mean it's
Professor,
broken?
what
What do
was
you
your
mean it's broken? Sorry, just a quick moment here, guys. What do you mean it's broken? I'm in the middle of.
He's yelling at
this
this
is
guy who's
live.
dying. This poor,
Oh my god!
terminally ill assistant
You're
professor.
making me look like a fucking idiot. That's why. Yeah. Okay.
Professor?
Sorry, folks. Let me okay, just unmuted myself there. So we seem to be having a technical difficulty here. James, our master of slides, is having some problems at the moment. I don't know what exactly they are. It seems like the clicker we bought on Amazon is malfunctioning. It seems, you know, the computer's not working. You know, I'm not an IT person. I'm just a T person. You know, leave off the I. I don't. You know, I'm not a techie nerd. So I don't even know what to do here. But we'll just continue. We'll just continue roundtable discussion style. You know, we'll get to those other 18 slides whenever I guess James can fucking figure out his piece of piece of work. Is what I meant to say. Yeah. No. Just
You're supposed to be talking to him
take your
like
time.
that? Does your boss
Um,
know you say that to him? To
no, see, the thing
little
is,
James?
student teachers or teachers' assistants are meant to be trampled upon and sort of spat upon and sort of treated like oxen,
Does Gorka know that
pulling the
you say the F word like that to your little assistant man?
director, esteemed director Gorka does not
Dr.
need to
Gorka.
know about any of that. Doctor, his esteemedness, Dr. Gorka, director of the department, does not need to know about any of that.
You know he's my uncle.
James is fine with.
I'm going to see him
No, actually, I didn't.
next week
I didn't know that.
at church.
Goodness. Oh, Gorka's a church man. I didn't know that.
No, he pretends to
Wow.
go, and then we go to the bar. We both say we're going to church.
Oh,
I muted yourself.
yeah, no, I
Muted yourself this time instead of me.
yes.
Probably
Yeah,
a
no,
smart decision.
I was just throwing a joke over to James there. He's you know, he's in a good mood. He's sort of chuckling over there. Well, that's fascinating. So Gorka's a church man, huh? That's good. Good to know.
Yep,
He's
big church man.
well, you know,
Loves
praise
church.
God for that. And you know, the thing is, and we can sort of, you know, maybe tie off a loose end here. So, as you would say, wine is important to Western society and churches in sort of religious ceremonies and contexts. Wine is very important. tea is actually sort of this for Eastern religions. And so, sort of Zen Buddhism and a lot of schools of Buddhist thought in Japan will use tea as a meditation aid. So, maybe, just a little joke here. Maybe Department Director Gorka could lay off the wine and maybe switch to a bit more tea, maybe
I'll tell him. I'll let him know.
At the next staff party. Yeah, it's just it's just a top of the head sort of thought.
I'll text him right now.
He loves his red wine, and so at the last faculty event, he probably, he did. He threw a glass of red wine directly at me, and so had that been tea, it would have been an easier pill to swallow. It wasn't quite stained so much, and
that's great.
I'm glad you're laughing. So one of us is laughing.
You should have started with that story. It's hilarious.
Well, I should have started with Vivaldi playing in the background, and this whole thing was supposed to be.
You were late,
supposed to be well produced. Well, no. See, the thing was, I was actually 2 minutes late. It was supposed to be at the time that the program said, and so you were early. So, but that's okay. It's fine. It's does anyone remember all the pins we put in everything, and can we pull them out now, or does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I was wondering what a good leaf would be to steep for bowel movements.
Oh, so like a BMT sort of,
yeah, but not,
so to speak.
Not DMT.
Sure. Yes, sure. Well, that brick tea you're drinking would probably help out quite a bit. That stuff flushes you out real quick. That stuff will get you. That stuff will get your cholesterol taken out of you from the inside, so to speak. So let's just say that that's a good one for sure. There's a bunch of other BMTs. I typically go to this Chinese market that has it's called tea for poo, which I don't know why it's phrased like that, but it's right next to the tea that is called kindi tea. Presumably they meant to say kidney tea, right next to the tea that says it's for springtime lust. So, there's all sorts of interesting teas out there. You can definitely find one for everything you need. And then there's also, there's another tea, if I remember correctly, there's one called For Your Heart. So that one could be good too. If you're having cardiac problems, like I sometimes occasionally have while doing presentations like this. So yeah, any other questions? This is fascinating stuff, folks. I'm glad that we're all here. This is probably the best use of my time that I've had in probably about 6 months. So the floor is yours, folks. Any other questions from the group?
Is the springtime lust tea helping you?
Sorry, what was that, Chad?
Is the springtime lust tea, is it helping? Is it working?
I don't really drink this stuff. I know a few people have tried it before. I don't know if they... Well, I did hear an anecdote. One guy tried it and then he lost his job a week later. So I don't know if that's necessarily the best move. It was springtime, so maybe that explains a little bit of it, but certainly not all of it. And there is a reason why he's in jail now. So yes, I'm not going to try that tea. Perhaps the kindi tea. I'll try presumably what they meant to say, kidney tea, because it's probably good for your kidneys. But yes, the springtime lust tea, not for me.
What about, because you're in education, what about test teas?
Test teas, definitely good for tests for sure. I've had probably let me tell you, on my undergraduate day, I had probably 6 or 7 test teas a day, and then on midterm and finals days, I was drinking 6 to 7 liters of test tea, just straight into the body. So I was
right down your throat. Those test teas.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how you drink it. It's.
Yeah, how else are you gonna do it?
Oh, I see what you did there. Yes, very funny. Testes, testes. Yes, it's just for tests, and there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, and it does help. I mean, it's colloquially known as colloquial. How do we say this? Collo- colloquially, colloquially,
Cochlea.
colloquially, uh, cloaca. Who knows? Anyways, colloquially. Goodness, I'm tripping over my words. Anyways, in common language, it's known as the sharp brain tea, and so that's to kind of make sure you're taking those tests well. Any other questions or any comments or?
Are we done? Can we go? Can I go home? Can I go out to my little gathering in the woods with my
No,
friends?
it's only 1:47. I mean, we got another 13 minutes here. I'm going the full hour. This is 87% of your grade, so we got a whole hour to burn here.
So is everybody else
Um,
failing? You're going to fail all 42 other people in this class?
oh, you betcha. I'm gonna fail their asses straight away because let me tell you something. If you don't take a class like this seriously, you're never gonna take a class like economics seriously. You're never gonna take a class like bridge building or architecture seriously. And do you really want those people building bridges? You want those people being architects? You want those people building buildings that'll just fall down because they didn't pay attention in T class? No, you don't want that. So, yeah, if Director Gorka has a problem with me failing roughly, you know, most, if not practically all of my class, then that's up to him. That's what the department does, and I have academic standards, and I need to uphold them.
Clara, have you ever failed a class?
No, not even in my nightmares.
Wow. What are your nightmares about?
Mm, I'd prefer not to say, but if I had to give you a hint, I would let you know that there's a lot of small legged creatures.
Can we talk about this for the next 13 minutes, Professor?
I'd really rather that we not. I mean, we're talking about small-legged creatures. Like what? I mean, like what kind of, like a dog or
Like
like a baby hyena or like a capuchin monkey or
like blood diamond crusted beetles that crawl all over the department stores and they won't leave us alone until we walk out of the store as quickly as possible without purchasing anything.
it's a hyper-specific dream. Is this like a recurring dream or is this just sort of a I before I got into tea, I was sort of into dreamology, as they call it. So the interpretation of dreams. So what is this a recurring dream that you seem to be having, or?
Well, the first time that I heard about this stream, I actually was read it through my loose tea leaves, which I'm sure you remember those practices, Professor.
Oh yes, yes, the reading of the tea leaves. I had a. Let me tell you a quick anecdote here, and I'm sure you'll find this riveting. There's a very old Cantonese woman once who I was walking down the street, and sort of basically I had a yuzu bun in my hand. I was sort of eating my yuzu bun, just walking down the street, drinking my Hokkaido tea, and then I see this old Cantonese woman. She sort of beckons me in. She says, "Hosa, pizza." And I was, sure, sure, so hi. I'm not too busy. So she says, come. Essentially, she says, "Come in, and I shall tell you your future," in Chinese, of course. So then I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm game. I want to figure out where I'm going to be in 10 years. Am I finally going to make it to Harvard, and am I going to be teaching that class about tea at Harvard? You know, we'll see. Still, there's still plenty of time. But so she ushers me into the shop, and she says, let's read your tea leaves, and so she takes the cup. It's the funniest thing. Let me tell you, you sort of had to be there, but it's the funniest thing. She doesn't even make tea with the tea leaves. She just throws them on the table, and then she starts reading them. And I was like, "You missed a step. you missed at least one step there, and it was sort of. Do we still have Chad? Is he frozen again, or is he?
Yeah, internet glitch. Sorry, I'm back.
Okay, yeah, it looked like you were frozen asleep there or something. It's
Nope.
yeah. Anyways, it's
Internet.
funny story. Maybe you had to be there, but
Your tea
also,
lady told the future. Yeah, I got it.
yeah. I mean, if you remember any of that, maybe you could tell your uncle, Director Gorka, that at any point, I'm looking to move from associate professor to lead professor.
What would you lead exactly? What department would you lead?
Well, I would essentially lead, this department here, the arts and imbiberies department. Um, I'm sort of only a junior professor right now, and imbiberies tea is an imbibery, so it's sort of like this fits right into the arts, this fits right into tea, this fits right into imbibing. So I ideally I'd like to be that, sort of a man for all seasons.
He just texted me back. Actually, he said,
Oh, okay.
Actually, I probably shouldn't say it's deals with some personnel change in the next year that he's planning. That's not my place.
Oh, is Gorka gonna fire somebody? What idiot is he gonna fire now?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah,
Good
he always
question.
he always
He'll
seems
let you
to weed
know.
out. Well,
when
he
it's time.
weeds out the dummies. I it's probably not
Yeah.
super correct of me to say, but he weeds out the dumb people and he
Yeah,
keeps the smart people. And so that's
sure
why I've
does.
been here for 3 years. That's why I'm going to be here for hopefully another 10, another 7. I can get my 10 year and then straight to Harvard. We all have dreams, tea dreams as I
I
call
like
them.
Clara's
So
dreams. I think those are fun. I like talking about those.
as well, we
It's
still have to finish the hour here.
Oh
So
my God,
let's
are
at
we?
least wrap
How
it
long
up
is
about
this hour?
tea.
How many minutes are in an hour now, Professor? I thought there were 60.
Yeah, no, there's 6. I just that I joined when we were supposed to, and we're gonna finish. Oh, you know what? I forgot a slide here. It was not included. Let's just go over it real quickly to wrap things up here. Um, oh, no, this wasn't supposed to be in here. No. Okay, well, thank goodness it's not in the manifest there. But we were going to talk about the T horse road, but then that got all screwed up. It's okay. Hopefully you folk got something out of this. To all our folks watching at home, thank you very much for being a part of this. Final question from Clara. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, now that you were speaking about animals and tea, I was wondering if you could maybe elaborate briefly on the Stanford monkey tea experiment.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. Well, um, did it happen? Who can say? Uh, the thing is, it's something that is interesting, but it's not really something that we should talk about per se, just because there's a lot of like extreme ethics as to whether it was ethical, whether it happened or not.
I just Googled it.
Nobody
It's
knows.
all over. There's a ton of news articles coming out about it. It looks like they just declassified some of these studies. This is disgusting.
Well, there's
Your face is all over this. You designed the whole thing?
no, there's my face. What are you? Who are you? What are you? A drunk Gorka at a faculty meeting making false accusations again? No, of
Yeah,
course not.
fish.
There's nothing to do with. It's not even. It's not even what. That, honestly, it didn't even
There's
happen.
a quote
It's
from
just sort of
you in
a.
one of
It's a
these
funny
headlines
anecdote.
from AP, Associated Press. There's a quote. It's like your face, you're in a lab coat. It says, "These
Oh
monkeys
boy.
wanted to die."
Yeah, yeah. Classic deep fake, right there. That's. I would never have said anything like that. I don't. I hold monkeys in the highest respect. I don't. I wouldn't. I never did this, and this never happened.
Oh
So
my
let's
God!
just
They
let's
boiled
continue
monkeys
to
to
talk.
make tea out of they infused the water with.
There's nothing
Oh
of the sort that ever
God!
happened.
You were trying to see which species made the best tea if you boiled it alive.
James, James, did we find those extra slides? Can we just slip
Oh
those
my
in?
God!
They still don't work. Okay. Oh my God, dude, I can't. Yeah. So no, that's this is all hilarious. I see
Oh, the
plenty of
pictures! I'm
comments
gonna
on
throw up. Oh
so
my
so
God!
many comments on Rate My Professor talking about, oh, this guy did the Stanford monkey tea experiment. No such thing ever happened. It's all a bunch of gook. It's all a bunch of gunk. It's all a bunch of fake news. Let's not, you know, I don't even think that this is a real thing. Like I've heard of the Stanford prison experiment, but Stanford didn't do any more experiments after that. They just shut down the whole experiment department. Um, Gorka style, just shut down the whole thing without any more funding. So no such thing happened at Stanford, and nothing will ever come of it. I think.
Professor, not that I was using Amazon during our class time, but I
I'm
did.
sorry. Are there any questions that's not about this potential incident that definitely didn't occur?
You're
Is this
right.
a question about the?
I'll talk to you after class, Professor.
No, no problem. It's just again, that never happened. So let's not dwell on the past, even though we are dwelling on the past, sort of talking about tea, quite a bit of history in there. So, uh, anyways, yes. Any other questions? Not monkey related.
Can I go?
We have another. Was it 45 seconds? Okay, yeah. We gotta finish strong here, folks. Um, I just had a thought. You ever heard of monkey picked tea? So sometimes they'll have monkeys go up into the trees and pick the tea, sort of a higher level of production. So you want to talk about monkeys, you want to talk about monkey and tea. That's all you'll find on the internet. It's just monkeys picking tea happily, I'll have you know, and with no guns to their head, with no shackles around their paws, um, just doing what little capuchins do in the trees and having a good old time in nature. So this is a little a little fun thing for you there. Um, I feel like this went really well. What do you guys feel like? You feel like this was a good lecture here? I'm open to honest feedback or criticism or anything. Constructive criticism. I'll take it.
Are you, no offense, Professor, are you ever going to maybe reimburse or discount your book that was prescribed for us to read that you wrote last year?
Oh,
Professor?
he's pulling a me.
Um,
That, oh,
I'm
I
so
see.
sorry.
I see right through you. I see right through you.
It keeps breaking up. I'm so sorry. Good question. Put a pin in that, and we'll talk about it later. Any other final questions or
No.
comments?
Can we
Okay.
go?
Uh, um, 13 seconds. Okay, another 13 seconds. Fun fact: Winston Churchill said one time that tea is like mother's milk. It's straight into the liver. And I don't know what that means, but the guy had a lot of weird quotes, and so I'll just let you guys try and crack that nut. And we're done. All right. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Semolina University College Library of the Arts and Imbiberies. Thanks you for your time. I do too. Both of you obviously get an A. Thank you so much for being here. The other 33 students get a big old fat F right at the top of their grades. So you guys avoided that by being here today. So thank you very much. I hope to see you very, very soon. And hey, if you ever want to major in tea, you ever want to minor in tea, just let me know. You know, I'm always looking for any students to get that part of the department started. There's not really a lot of people who want to major in that, so no pressure. But anyways, yeah. Good afternoon, and happy tea drinking to you both.
Cheers, Professor. Thank you so much.
No problem. And if you hear anything from Gorka, just let me know. Thank you, Department Director Gorka, for making this all possible. I'm sure you'll agree this was a great use of time and a great use of the $780,000 you lent me for this presentation. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night. Afternoon, sorry.